Hello viewers, welcome to another session of NEP 2020. Today, myself Deepa, along with me Ms. Sindhu Ashok, faculties of Indian Educational School Bhavans Kuwait, are continuing the discussion on assessment reforms of NEP 2020. The current nature of the school exams, especially the secondary level examination, including the board exams and the entrance exams, are doing much harm to the students, focusing more on their coaching rather than giving them time for true learning. I think these exams are enforcing, or this type of exam culture is making the students study only a narrow band of material in a single stream, and also in the place of where the students should be given flexibility of choices, which is the present educational policy is stressing on.
Deepa, the primary purpose of assessment will indeed be to assess the learning a student has achieved at various levels.
True.
It will help the student, the teacher, and the entire schooling system to continuously revise the teaching and learning, to optimize learning and development of each and every student. The child's progress will be evaluated at all levels of schooling.
Yes, I think Sindhu, we should monitor or track the progress of students at all levels of school rather than just only at grade 10 and 12. This will always benefit student as a learner, teachers, principals, and all the school leaders who are trying to implement the changes that is for the improvement of the schooling system. I think all school going students should give an examination at the end of grade 3, grade 5 and grade 8, which should be administered by a appropriate authority too.
Very true. In order to achieve this, CBSE has initiated and implemented their pilot project called SEFL in the previous academic year. SEFL is Structured Assessment for Analyzing Learning. This will strengthen the assessment system by promoting critical thinking, inquiry, and analysis-based learning. SEFL will ensure progress throughout the school years by providing diagnostic information about students' learning to schools, and this will support school education to move towards more of competency-based education.
True.
We are very proud that Indian Educational School has been one of the 2000 schools that CBSE had chosen to administer the SEFL test.
I think we can congratulate ourselves for such a good effort. Now the SEFL report can help us to know, first thing we'll get to know about the learning gap of students. We will be able to find out specific areas where students are struggling, so that targeted interventions at all levels at the appropriate time could be done rather than carrying it over till grade 10. Then teachers can modify their curriculum, their study materials, which will be beneficial for the students in such a manner that their learning becomes easier. Then teacher professional development programs for the teachers can also stress on these specific areas where the student is finding it difficult. The learning difficulties of the students can also be highlighted on.
Besides this, resource allocation can be done.
True.
Direct resources, that is material and human resources, can be moved to areas where they are most needed. This will improve the learning outcomes. We can also involve the stakeholders by sharing the results with the parents and the wider school community to rally their support for the improvement initiatives. Long-term planning. Incorporate the findings of SUFFLs into the school strategic plans, ensuring a consistent focus on enhancing student learning. Because with all this, if there are any learning gaps, it can be filled at the appropriate state so that there will be a continuous progress in the students' learning will happen. Long-term planning. Incorporate the findings of SUFFLs into the school's strategic plans, ensuring a consistent focus on enhancing student learning. This ensures that the learning gaps, if any, are filled at the appropriate state.
These examinations would test the achievement of the basic learning outcomes by testing their core concepts, curriculums from the national and local curricula, and also application of higher order skills, questions, then applying the learned knowledge in real life situations. That is something very important, rather than just rote memorizing the concepts. I think this will be more beneficial for the students.
Exactly. For example, the grade 3 SUFFL test will include testing the basic literacy, numeracy and other foundational skills. The results of the school examination will be used only for developmental purpose of the school.
Good.
And for continuous monitoring and improvement of the school system. School teachers and management will work towards improving the weakness identified.
NEP 2020 envisage assessment as a tool for the student development. There are two types of assessments. One is summative assessment and the other one is formative assessment. Summative assessment has got a fixed time in the school calendar for that academic year, whereas formative assessment is continuous process and it could be conducted at any time of the year. The main goal of formative assessment is to monitor the progress of the students' learning by giving feedback. Ongoing feedback will help the instructor for improve the teaching and also as a student as a good learner also.
Very true. More specifically, formative assessments help students identify their strengths and weaknesses and target the areas that need improvement. It will also help faculty to recognize where students are struggling and address their problems immediately. Examples of formative assessment include asking a student to draw a concept map in the class to represent their understanding of a topic, to write 1 or 2 sentences about the main points that they heard on that day's lecture, or to submit a research proposal for early feedback.
The goal of summative assessment is to evaluate the student after an instructional unit of an academic year against some standards or benchmark. I think summative assessments are given high points scale. The reason they are considered as a high stake value. The reason is that their values are highly important for the future. Examples of some summative assessments will be some midterm exam, final year-end examination, or a submission of a project at the end of a term. All these includes summative assessment, and that is why they are considered as a high stake point values.
With that note, it is Sindhu Ashok and Deepa signing off.